I'm a deputy fire marshal with the City of Eugene Fire and EMS. Currently I'm assigned to the building department, and here at the building department we do plan reviews and inspections of various permits for construction that happen throughout the city, whether that be new construction, remodels of existing buildings, or anything else that might come along, including development of residential areas. Part of the inspections we do here in the building department are taking the plans that we review here in the office and verifying that that's how they're getting installed in the field. And one of those plans that we do very frequently is sprinkler inspections. So we get the sprinkler plans in, we review those, and then we go out in the field and make sure that they're being installed to the plans that they submitted. Those inspections consist of going and making sure the piping is the right size, sprinkler heads are getting installed in the correct places for the application, and then all the testing that goes along with the piping and underground flows. Many buildings have multiple types of sprinkler systems that can be incorporated within them. There can be dry systems, wet systems, pre-action systems, and pretty much what we're doing out there is verifying that each one of them gets installed correctly as per the standard and that it's going to function when required to.
We here at Jet Fire Protection design and install fire sprinkler systems for buildings in the Eugene area and all over the state, and in several states actually. My role here is a project manager, and I design fire sprinkler systems according to the National Fire Protection Association standards, and I submit those designs to the City of Eugene Building Department, and the deputy fire marshals that are assigned to the building department review my plans for compliance with code and issue a permit for us to do the work, and we go do the installation. And then once we have the rough-in installation complete, we call for a cover inspection, and we do a pressure test, and the fire marshal comes out and witnesses those tests, and everything's good to go for the construction to cover up the pipe. And then at the very end of the installation, we call for a final inspection from the fire marshal, and they come out and make sure that the installation is in compliance with the state codes.
Lots of new development scenarios come across our desk. We plan review those and make sure that we have correct fire flow for the buildings that come through. And a lot of times we'll have to either move hydrants or add extra hydrants to a particular development area, and then we go out and test those. Testing those consists of hydrostatically testing them as well as flow testing them to make sure that we're getting the proper gallons per minute for the building and the size of the building, so that if something were to happen, we would have enough fire flow, is what we call it, to effectively fight fire. A lot of the buildings or permits that come through here that we see are new buildings and remodel buildings, which might have multiple systems in them, including kitchen hood suppression systems, fire alarm or evacuation systems, and as we talked about, sprinkler systems, as well as specialized systems that are out there that we don't see all the time, but those would be the main three. So a lot of times it will be an accumulation of different fire suppression or fire safety systems that go into a building that we plan review each one of those and then go out and inspect to make sure they're installed correctly and will perform the function that are required to. Part of those inspections on the systems are actually doing function tests of each piece of, I'd call it, equipment. So whether it be the fire alarm, making sure the pull stations work, or that it's all interconnected with the sprinkler system and hood suppression, or the kitchen suppression system, making sure it's going to work and function when the kitchen has a fire. Or some of the projects that come through the building department are following non-conventional construction methods like green building and other energy-saving ideas that are coming through in buildings, and some of those buildings require some pretty in-depth review because they're not the standard. You can't apply the usual methods for the sprinkler systems or alarms or things like that to actually make them function correctly. Sometimes we have to go outside the box and do fire modeling with engineers to actually make sure that these systems are going to work in the manner that they're installed in these buildings where there's no definite standard on how to install those systems. Most of what we do here at the building department is really a set of checks and balances. We work alongside fire protection contractors, building contractors, architects, engineers, to ensure that today's safety measures are built into each building in this community and make sure they're installed right. So if the need does come that they're required to function, they function correctly and the public will be safe.